Welcome back to Intuitive Innovations. We're at 216 Creators Studio. I'm Luna Goddess. If I'm new to you, hello. We have a topic today. I'm going to just pre-warn you. Go ahead and grab yourself some tissue because we're going to be discussing the mother's wound, invisible labor, and the exhausted woman. Now, Sunday's Mother's Day. For some of us, that could be a celebration, but for many, it can be a heartbreak. And I'll get into that, right? There's plenty of stages and ages and relationships that we have. I'll bring about my own personal interaction with Mother's Day. To begin with, I am estranged from my mother. That's nothing that we haven't discussed on this podcast or on my social media channels. As we sit there and talk about estrangement, and as we talk about on the podcast today, working through our feelings, it's as big as us and being a mother and people trying to become mothers. I have worked with so many women who have struggled with infertility, that have struggled with all of these concepts, and they find themselves hit with Mother's Day and it's sadness. Listen, let me define who should be celebrated on Mother's Day. Everyone that is in their divine feminine energy that helps love and support another living thing is to be honored and celebrated. Period. Okay. Period. And that even is my own mother, right? So we are estranged for very good reasons, but I still honor the fact that she gave me life. I am grateful. Maybe not the easiest of childhoods, maybe not the easiest of experiences. So the hard part, I think, for a lot of mothers, though, when Mother's Day comes up, is they have to plan their own celebrations. They have to sit there, and we're going to get into a couple of different things, but they have to sit there and figure out where they're going, get their kids ready, get them in their cute little outfits, buy their cute little outfits, make sure they're clean, make sure that they are ready to go. And it is damn near exhausting. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? You know what? At a point, you just don't want to be making those decisions. So there's a lot when we talk about this concept today of the mother's wound. You could be hurting, and the wound could be there because your mother's passed or deceased. If you are missing your mother this Mother's Day, many blessings and love to you. It could be the invisible labor of trying to figure out all that you have to do, all that you have to carry, and now you have to plan your own celebration. Fathers don't have to do that for Father's Day. Mothers do that. Okay. It could also be the exhausted woman of holding everything together, doing everything, being everything. And that is exhausting. And we have to be perfect. It's so funny, the slide for the father. Like, you just have to kind of just show up and not be a dick, and you're Father of the Year. You make one singular mistake as a mother and you are crucified. You say something wrong, you do something wrong, you have an emotional moment. The amount of pressure on a mother to stay emotionally regulated, at least the ones that are doing the work, that are doing the shadow work, that are doing the heavy lifting, that is a challenge, my loves. That's a challenge. So we'll start with the mother's wound. Again, if you're empathetically exhausted, you don't have to carry it all. And quite honestly, people should treat you with the love and respect. But unfortunately, these holidays come along and unresolved emotions become amplified. And everybody thinks it has to be performative and transactional when all it has to do is be about connection. It is not transactional. It is not performative. It is connection. So these holidays will amplify this unresolved emotional trauma. Let's start with what is the mother's wound. We've talked about this on the podcast before when we had Kat on, Moon Kitty, and I actually have her deck today. We're going to be doing some readings. All that it requires as we get into that segment will be you just commenting and asking a question to Spirit so that I can help with your mother's wound. When we start to discuss that mother's wound, there is a blending of understanding yourself, right? So if you grew up in an environment where you weren't taught emotional regulation, maybe you were taught to see that, again, it's transactional. Your worth is only valued when you're performing. That can mean a lot. Maybe you had that emotionally unavailable mother, right? They were struggling with their own illness or dependency or something that was not accessible for them to show up for you. Maybe you had a hypocritical mother. constantly criticizing, constantly nagging, constantly attacking everything you do. And I know a lot of women that grew up with that kind of environment with that hypocritical mother or hypercritical mother. You have mothers that were exhausted themselves. Let me tell you something. Nobody prepares you for the heartbreak, the challenges, and the constant work of being a mom, at least being a mom that's trying to be there and show up and be present and feel the love, right? So that's a challenge in and of itself. And maybe you've inherited survival patterns yourself. I know I had to unprogram myself from I guess the mentoring, which is a really poor word for it. The conditioning is probably a better one of my mom, who is a generations and generations of alcoholics, right? All of her siblings, her, a lot of my brother. It just kept going. I broke that cycle, right? I broke that cycle. When you're the cycle breaker and you're the black sheep, you are targeted and excommunicated from your family. And that can be really hard. Maybe the daughters who had become caretakers too early. At 10, I was taking care of the household. There's no fun finding your mom in a bathtub drunk, passed out, wondering if she's even breathing. And you've got an infant brother that you're responsible for and an 8-year-old sister. So that could be a little bit challenging. And some of you have that role. Or you learned that you love through service or through your body or through abandonment. You're conditioned again, performance equals love. Look, we have the definitive purposes of that you are loved simply for existing, that you are loved and worthy, period. You don't have to prove anything to receive love. Now, for a lot of women that grew up in this kind of environment with a mother's wound, okay, I'm not telling you to go blame your mothers. That's not the angle that I'm coming from. I'm wanting you to understand that generational pain. I'm wanting you to understand that your mother just came ahead of you. That's the only way. Like in the contract of coming to this crazy planet, she came ahead of you, and maybe she didn't have the skill set to be a mom. Maybe she didn't have the skill set to even just exist here, right? And she struggled. And if you have anything of empathy or light or energy, you were going to become a target because you were everything she didn't have. So understanding that generational pain is so important, and understanding that they gave us sometimes survival skills, understanding and reading situations. I'm grateful in a way because I truly believe my intuition was sharpened by the survival skills that my mother gave me instead of the softness and the love. I believe that those skills needed also some unpacking because it caused me to be a people pleaser, a perfectionist, an overfunctioner. It caused me to crave validation, okay, and to be emotionally hypervigilant. Now I can look at those as all negative traits that I had to unlearn, mostly in my 40s and into my 50s now. But I realize that it also gave me the opportunity to sharpen my empath or my empathy, just to be a sharpened empath, to be an empowered empath. Because as I was becoming hypervigilant, I became aware of other people's feelings, not so that they'd be sticky with me, but so that I could feel how I needed to interact. So if that resonates with you, that mother's wound isn't about you chastising your mom. Yes, I understand some moms were horrible. It's about understanding what they went through as a woman and giving them a little bit of grace, but still maintaining your distance for your own safety, protection, sanity, and I guess your wherewithal, right? Your stability. So when we look at that mother's wound, that is definitely something we're talking about. And it may deeply resonate with you. So feel free to comment if this is something that resonates with you, that if you felt that you had that hypercritical mom, you had that mom that hurt. If you're joining us across social media, hello, welcome. I'm Luna. If you're joining us on TikTok, unfortunately, I will not be able to bring you up, but you can comment. We are live right now at our creator studios. Okay. Let's talk about that invisible load. So there is, it's almost counterintuitive that mothers have to plan everything, including their own celebration, their own birthdays, Mother's Day, that they have to decide what everybody's going to eat. I can't tell you how many times I've gone out on Mother's Day and watched. I almost hated going out on Mother's Day. It got to a point where I told my family there was two things that I really wanted for Mother's Day. One, the kids to all get along and the house to be clean. And those were failed on me all the time. And I wasn't trying to put pressure on people. I was just trying to say, can we just have a peaceful day at home? Just caught the 11:11. Make yourself a wish if you are trying to claim some of this energy right now with 11:11. I claim peace and love and prosperity and abundance for all of you. But deciding what they're going to eat, coordinating emotions, carrying the mental load, trying to make the magic for everybody. Like, how the hell? Make them. I felt this so tremendously, and I still do. Like, it got to a point where I didn't want to even celebrate Mother's Day, and I almost am not anymore. I feel almost as if I'm invisible. We do the invisible labor, and we show up, and we're the call, and we're the wiper of the tears. And I'm not saying that all mothers are this way. I'm just speaking from how I feel. And then we're discarded. As your kids get older, now you are a burden to them. And I don't understand that. And for anybody that has ever said, oh, Luna, it must be nice to be perfect and intuitive. No, it's not. It's messy. It's understanding and it's almost overwhelming where you want to go to your inner gangster and you hold space because you understand where their pain is coming from. It can be very challenging and very difficult. I didn't want Mother's Day to ever be a task to manage. I just wanted it to be a celebration of the beautiful children I created. And yes, to be honored for it because my body went through hell. It went through hell. I had my first daughter and I was preeclamptic, almost died. Between my first daughter and my son, I had a ruptured ectopic and it did kill me. I coded and they brought me back. With my son, we went through 4 rounds of in vitro to try to have him. I ended up miraculously having him naturally. But he gave me gestational diabetes and now diabetes. He's a type 1 diabetic. With my daughter, I carried her so low, I couldn't move some days. That was my youngest. So bringing them into the world, especially when I wasn't supposed to have children, when I was scared to death after the ectopic, they said I would never get pregnant again naturally. And if I did get pregnant, it would be a very high chance of losing those babies. I was terrified when I was pregnant with my all 3 children. The first, because you don't know what the hell's going on. Then the second 2, because they told me I was going to lose those pregnancies. Now sitting with a 23-year-old, an 18-year-old, and 16-year-old at this podcast time and this Mother's Day, I just think to myself, like, yes, as a mom, I own mistakes that I made. I own the fumbles. I own my emotional outbursts. And I've apologized probably 1,000 times for them. But that does not mean, and I'll speak to my moms in the room, that you ever are supposed to be on the receiving end of cruelty, unkindness from your children. If that feels that way, if it feels that you have the emotional labor, if it feels that you're doing everything, I'm very fortunate now that I have a partner who is supportive and loving. Mr. Cinnamon is a phenomenal husband. Actually, the last 2 years, he's the only person that has given me a Mother's Day gift. Okay, so that might resonate with you as you pour so much in and love so much for your children. And somehow it's still not enough. It is deeply hurtful for me to talk about this, but I know it may resonate with some of you as well. So the emotional labor in the relationships, the holding the harshness, the becoming the house's nervous system support, and then being lashed at and abused because you're the one that holds the emotional regulation and the pain. As an empath, I absorb everything and I take it to heart. But please understand something, that empaths are not just soft. We choose to take the regulated answer. But don't get me wrong. You can piss me off enough that my inner gangster, my inner Chicago will come out and you will wish it didn't. For every bit of that sympathy and kindness, you have to remember, we all live in in a very balanced continuum, right? Don't get me wrong. You push me hard enough, that pendulum of love and kindness and sympathy, and you holding space for your emotion will swing to my acid tongue and I'm going to kick your ass. I always say I'm love and light with a hella right because I understand. And with Pluto now in retrograde till November, I understand my shadow. I have done the time for my shadow. So if you are one of those exhausted women disconnecting from yourself, listen, you don't have to go out to brunch. You don't have to go see, your aunties and your mothers. You do not have to do a damn thing that you don't want to do any day, but especially on Mother's Day. I remember for the entire part of my life, up until I personally was a mother, I was held hostage on Mother's Day by my mother for not just emotional labor, but for physical labor, planting flowers, doing this, digging out her pond. We had to do what we were told to honor her. And that is to me, yeah, I will, but 8 hours of hard labor was abusive. Can you speak to that, Nico? What's up?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I was just raised that was normal. So when you brought that up, I'm just like,
It
oh
triggers you a
yeah.
little. You're like,
No,
yeah,
no, not exactly
you know,
triggers. I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm like, that was a thing for a while there.
yeah,
Like
it's me.
I remember digging up all the tulip bulbs and replanting them, and then
I,
yeah, it was just like you said, like a day, sometimes 2 days, the
2 days,
day
yes, the
after.
Saturday and the Sunday of
Yeah.
Mother's Day.
Yep.
And you were just like, I hated flowers for the longest time, and I love nature. You know me, I'll go hug a tree, put my feet in,
Yeah.
put my ass in grass. I hated flowers for the
I
longest
don't
time.
like gardening whatsoever, but now I unfortunately know a lot about uh garden flowers, I guess you
Yeah,
could say. So,
I for the longest time would not do a flower bed because it was a big fu to her.
mm,
Like I would do vegetable gardening because I saw and now all I want to do is like live on a homestead and have
right.
sustainable living, which I think is so funny. And the one time I did a vegetable garden with the kids, and the kids had fun and they planted what they wanted to plant, she took credit for it. She's like, "Oh, you're just a chip off the old block." Oh God, please don't insult me like that.
Oh yeah.
No. Um, so again, I do have a mother's wound, and we will do those mother's wound readings, but I think it's so important that you just sit there and you go, "Oh my God, I don't." Moms are. My favorite place to cry used to be the car and the shower. I don't do that anymore. I was hurt, most recently even by my youngest daughter yesterday. I learned to absorb the pain and transmute it as an alchemist much faster, much faster.
Mm.
And it's like I'm in this sandwich, and maybe this is just us Gen X women. And if it resonates with you, please let me know in the chats. I'm supposed to be taking care of the older generation of my parents who didn't take care of me at all. I mean, yes, okay, did I have a roof to live on? And yes, did I have the most basic of needs? Yes. But I'm talking about that emotional regulation. I'm talking about even caring until it was something. The only time I ever heard them speak nice about me is when they were bragging on my accomplishments to leverage their own status. That was it.
Yeah.
Period. Now I'm in this generation of I didn't get any emotional regulation. So I might have taught emotional regulation overload to my children. And I'm in between both ends being, I don't want to say mistreated because I'm not a victim, I'm a victor, but being acutely aware that I have to almost fight for my existence here to be happy. That's not right. Like the moment I get happier, people are trying to, it's like the crabs in the bucket. The higher you climb, they try to pull you down.
Yep.
I don't do that. I celebrate everybody. I don't know. Does that resonate with you, Nico?
Yeah, it does. I'm never one to pull anyone down. Uh I try to not think about everything too much. I'm very laid back. I'm an empath, but I'm also to the point where like, okay, you're gonna be like this way. I'm just not gonna put any energy
No,
towards
you
you
just
at
you just
all.
don't. You become almost numb to it, which is interesting for empaths to go numb. I call this an empowered empath in the sense that they start to realize what it is theirs to carry. Because for the longest time, I carried too much emotional shit that wasn't mine. I
I'm
was
with you.
burdened. Talk about that invisible labor. I I could meet somebody in the grocery store and I could feel their emotion and it would get sticky. I had to learn how to envelop and almost bubble up. And I've talked about that before and put protections around myself. But the thing is I could do it with strangers, but I wasn't doing it with family. And I will put family in quotation marks because please understand that family for me now.
Just because they're blood doesn't mean they're family.
Exactly. Family to me is the people I choose to be around. I always say there's a couple conditions. We're in good energy, having a good time, having good intentions, and just, I don't want to say low expectations, but it's not just to be together, right? Just to be together. We don't have to be going or doing or spending money or whatever. I mean, it could be just sitting around the dinner table for an extended meal, or it's not about the benefit. It's about the connection. It's not what does this give me? It's more of how can I connect, right?
I got a question.
What's up, babe?
What are signs someone may be parenting from their unresolved trauma?
Well, they start programming you. So I'll give you a perfect example. I grew up with some friends whose mother was terrified to drive the expressway. So she started downloading that into the kids' heads. And I treat it like a computer. So she programmed their computers' heads. Those two girls will not drive the expressway. They are 50 years old and they don't drive the expressway. They don't like being on the expressway, whether they're the driver or not. It really becomes, for me, I had to catch myself like hearing the conditioning and programming and such early on as a mom. Fatigue takes you to your default program. Fatigue takes you back. So a lot of people will miss that they need to take that breath. They need to emotionally regulate themselves before they respond. Remember, you can choose to interact and then you got to choose to how you react because you can only control your reaction. So if you're under attack, you have to come at it from a point of balance, because here's why. If you don't, and you're coming at it from your generational trauma, right, and you are not processing and doing that shadow work, especially now with Pluto in retrograde, you're going to end up trauma passing to your children, which is something I didn't want to do. I made it very clear. I'm a Gen X kid. I was hit. Okay. Was I beaten? No. Was I hit hard? Yeah.
What's a good way to recognize if you're passing down your unresolved trauma without even realizing it? Because I know there are a lot of parents out there that are 110% doing it that don't even know.
They don't even know. You could talk to your kids about like their opinions on things. You could talk to them about their fears on things and then start to find out, because truly we're only born with two natural fears, the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. But now if they have all these fears, I'll give you a perfect example. I don't like horror movies. No, I don't like horror movies because I'm a medium and my life is like, I'm surrounded by spirits all the time. I don't want to be scared on purpose. But my mom hated horror movies. Now, if she had liked them, would I have been raised differently? Maybe. But this is, hello, everybody. I see you guys there. Thank you. Now I see, like, as we're talking live on the podcast, you have to just kind of self-edit and then see what's going on with your kids and how they're responding to stimuli and situations. So I've caught myself sometimes, and I tell my kids that certain behaviors, we've edited that and we've looked at that and we've talked about it. It's really me saying, I'm sorry. I think I may have put this perspective, because we're all raised with different perspectives, right? Different foci, different way of being raised. And I apologize, but let's look at a different way of this, because when I was in the trauma and drama of those earlier years when they were little and trying to take care of them and being scared to death that I was going to lose them and all these other things, I was a different mom than I am now. I've done a hell of a lot more emotional healing and emotional regulation and understanding. And I think I'm a better mom now because of it. I'm not as reactive, but it's almost like they crave, because their father is not as maybe emotionally regulated, no disrespect to him, but they crave the instability. They crave the yell at me.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to yell at you.
No.
That's not good for either of us emotionally. So I hope that answers your question.
It does.
Okay.
Yep.
So really, is there a guideline, a guidepost? No, it's more of just constantly being aware of the code. We do have, so up at lunagoddess.org, I have what's called a mindset hack. So I work with a lot, predominantly women, mostly 30s to and beyond, that need support handling exactly what you're saying, Nico. They need that support to deprogram, right? To cut the virus out of their minds, right? To allow themselves to feel um connected. So, if you're watching, you can go ahead and just look at that QR and move yourself to Seeking Out or go to lunagoddess.org and connect with us, because a lot of people don't understand that they have an inherent program running in the background. It's almost like somebody loaded a virus in your mind,
Yeah.
intentionally or unintentionally. No blame to parents or environment or friends or anything. Now it's your responsibility, when you recognize that you're working on a virus, to remove that virus. A lot of people don't know how to do that. I've developed a resources, whether it's the Guidance Alignment Protocol or my one-on-one alignments for heart set and mindset hacks, that will get in there and almost like surgically remove those viruses that we were speaking of.
No, yeah, it's a good thing because I can think of a handful, a plethora of things
A
that
plethora.
a negative stuff that I used to do or still currently do that is a result of what I was taught to be normal from my parents. Um, whether that be relationships or day-to-day life or how I regulate emotions
Or don't regulate
cor-
emotions.
correct, yeah. Kind of all of that. And you don't realize because you think it's normal. And like you said, it's like a virus.
It is
It's
a
in
virus.
your head. You don't even know it's
Sometimes you
there.
don't know it's there.
No,
Sometimes you don't know when
almost never
viruses
do.
are loaded or how they're loaded.
It
Right.
usually takes one person close to you to be like, "Hey, you're doing this wrong. That's not normal at all. That's
Or getting
the
around
opposite."
normal people and being like, this is weird. Because
Correct.
function and dysfunction
Oh,
feel very different.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
healthy and trauma feel very different. So I know a lot of friends of mine that are divorced, same here. And well, I'm remarried now, but they, like, one house is emotionally regulated, another house is dysfunctional. And it's so difficult for kids to go back and forth in those environments because they don't, like, their nervous system is going to kind of cling to one or the other. So sometimes they want to be in the dysfunction because it's almost predictable. And that sounds weird, but it's because of how it's been conditioned. So when I work with some clients, they're like, my kids prefer, the chaos,
Mm.
because chaos is familiar to them. And I said, I can understand that, because it's not something they grew up understanding. They understand the patterns of chaos. They don't understand the patterns of emotional regulation. So that's something that I love working on with families or couples or just even children. Children nowadays, unfortunately, and by no design of their own, are very angry. That's something in the traditional Chinese medicine when we're dealing with liver, because of the food they're eating, the dyes they're eating, the poison that they're ingesting in this non-benevolent country sometimes. So they find themselves really responding in a negative way. Okay. So as we're sitting here, talking about the invisible load, talking about that mother's wound, and talking about now energetic exhaustion that we're going to go into right now. If you feel burned out, okay, you cannot generate positivity from negative situations. So you have to literally eradicate the negative. It's like you can't just like platitude and affirm your way out of trauma. Oh my God, I'm going to affirm my way out of trauma. No, it
All the
doesn't have to work that
TikToks
way.
I watched said I could do that though.
You can't affirm your way out of trauma.
Darn
What
it.
you have to do is recognize the trauma, reframe it, and then integrate it. It's never not going to be yours, but it doesn't have to be yours at the forefront of your foci of how you interact with things. So
Okay.
it's not the lens.
Gotcha.
We develop a new spiritual lens. So unfortunately, when we get around Mother's Day or when the Father's Day doesn't do it the way Mother's Day does, Mother's Day triggers the shit out of people. But we get around holidays and our emotional energy just amplifies and we feel the pain or we feel the family dynamics that become triggering old wounds. And, I wish my mother was this, or I wish I was more like this, or you start to feel guilty, or you start to feel emotionally responsible for the peace of the effing world. And you're like, oh my God, that is energetically exhausting, especially if you're an empath. You're overstimulated. You're absorbing everybody's moods. Oh my God. Every time I go out, and it's been a hot minute, but I would constantly feel like I had to be the barometer, right? I had to be the barometer for everybody's moods, right? That I had to, and honest to God, a better way to say it, I had to be the thermometer. I had to measure their moods. No, 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 baby. I'm the thermostat. I control the environment. I am not the thermometer anymore. And if you knew me as a thermometer, let me introduce you. Hi, I'm Luna. I'm the thermostat. I am controlling the environment so we can get into an emotional regulated state, because I'm not going to sit here and have my vibration lower because people are just jags.
See, I came from a household where it was just a furnace all the time.
Oh God, baby. That's overstimulation. And that's like, no wonder you sit there and you're like, how do I find that regulation?
Yeah.
Like, I'll be quite blunt with people. I have learned to cut people off. My cutoff game is improved, and it's quick, because if my own family can treat me in a certain way, you best be believing if perfect strangers on the internet, being a content creator, being a streamer, being an influencer, being actually a leader of this emotional regulation, if they one little, you might get it's not baseball. It's not baseball. You don't get 3 strikes with me. I see one pitch and I go, I don't like it. I see a second time and I'm like, I'm freaking done. Light switch, you're done, you're off. And don't think you get access back to my community. You don't. You just don't. Because if you're not coming in respectful and you're being disrespectful, pack it up. Pack it in. Let me begin. Take a fucking walk.
We got a comment from
Yes.
Marcy.
Hi, Marcy.
How do you identify what the trauma is?
That's a great question, Marcy. Good to see you, love. How do you identify what the trauma is? Look how you respond to stimuli. Look at the pattern of your behaviors. Look at every time when X happens, I respond this way, because you have that internal programming that needs some reworking. That means either I'm observing people's, maybe I'm a people pleaser, maybe it feels in my system, right? Somatically, if I say no to you, now I feel like I've let you down. If I say no to you, now I feel like, oh God. And I feel sick over it. I used to feel sick over saying no. I overcommitted and overextended myself.
I still do.
Do you?
Oh my God, all
watch
the
this.
time.
Practice with me. Here we go, Nico.
No.
It feels so damn good.
I don't like it. It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't, it's really,
it's a foreign word for me.
Watch this. You don't have to say no. It doesn't suit my energy.
It doesn't suit
you're kidding me. You giggle. You're right
there. I feel like I would sound like an asshole saying that.
Well, you're not. Because if it doesn't suit your energy, it doesn't. I'm not saying say no when you want to say yes. I'm saying say no when it doesn't suit your energy.
Oh, okay.
Like, let's say you have a free day of everything. And I'm like, hey, Nico, would you like to come clean my bathrooms with your toothbrush?
No.
How'd you feel saying no?
Good.
Okay, there you go. Same thing. If it doesn't fit you, and if you don't want to go to the party, don't go to the party. You don't want to go to the family event, don't go to the family event. You don't want to go to the wedding, the wake, the whatever, insert. It's a no. That's a no. It's a hard pass for me. I get invited to things all the time and I say no. And people are like, you're not social. Oh God. Oh, I'm very social. I just don't want to be around certain people. No. Where I used to say yes. Where I got stuck one year making paella for 740 Girl Scouts. It was ridiculous. Then one of the moms came up to me and was like, I've gone to Spain. And I can tell you, this is not how they make paella in Spain. I'm like, bitch, I've gone to Spain and I did not want to spend that much money on saffron for your Girl Scouts. Sorry, they're getting Uncle Ben's. Calm down. Calm down, psycho. I lived in Spain, so don't tell me how to make paella. But I just smiled sweetly. I'm like, oh, thank you for your feedback, where I really wanted to throat punch her. Now, at 50, I'm okay. I got the bail money. The throat punching might come.
Now you're catching her out in the parking lot.
Now I'll go run her down and be like, do you like your tires? No, I'm not promoting violence, but I'm also not promoting peace all the time. Sometimes we have to stand up for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a balance. It's a continuum. People are like, Luna.
Everything has a consequence.
Listen, frequently. we sit down to the banquet of our consequences, and karma is coming. Oh, sip, 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 sip. Let's go, crummy crumb. Let's eat it all up. Because some of you are deserving of the good karma. Karma is not good or bad. Inherently, people are like, karma is not good or bad, but it is energetically aligned.
Is there like good karma?
Hell yeah, baby.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Listen, I unexpectedly, this is crazy. This happens to me all the time. And I talk about this predominantly when I'm streaming TikTok as well. There is so much that aligns to you. Like I have these money blessing candles out of nowhere. I found a bunch of money in my wallet. It shouldn't have been there. I knew I blew it all while waiting for Mexican food on Cinco de Mayo, playing the slot machines. Okay. But why the hell it was there? I don't know. I found it. I opened my wallet and I was like, damn.
What am I doing wrong? Okay, so I don't get bad karma anymore because I understand karma, right?
Right.
And I don't get bad karma anymore because I'm good, right? Everything
And you
goes
don't have
great.
to always be good.
Nothing's really bad has happened in a pretty long time.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. Thankfully, our studio is.
And do you know why
covered
we
in
do
wood.
that? I'm gonna explain that in a second.
Yeah, no, you're gonna have to. I guess I gotta look harder for the good karma. Because I'm not.
No, you've been programmed to wait for the other shoe to drop. So
That's
energetically,
that's kind of where I'm going. Yeah, I think I need to
energetically,
look for it because I always look for the negative.
your broadcast, like you're literally broadcasting country music and you want to be on rock station. What you're broadcasting to the universe is I'm waiting for you to give me a situation where I'm going to be disappointed. Now, remember with manifestation, I talk about this often. We have to receive, the emotional, the download, we have to align. So I think it, I say it, I feel it, I put a little energy behind what I want, right? And then I forget about what I want. Because the law of detachment tells you the moment you stop focusing on that boiling pot of water, there's going to be the boils. The moment you stop waiting for the paint to dry, it's going to dry. Now, it's really putting you in the right alignment and then letting go and letting God, or letting go and letting the universe, or letting go and letting your spirit team. Bring it on down. Bring it on down. So going back to the knock on wood, this comes back to the days of the Druids, that there'd be tree fairies. So when you needed help, support, and protection, you would knock on a tree to have the Druids come out to bless and protect you. So when we say knock on wood, people that are always like, oh, you're an intuitive, you're going to hell. But yet you say knock on wood, guess what? You're practicing magic. It literally is practicing magic and awakening the tree fairies or the Druids to come in and take care of you. So
well, it works, so I'm not going to stop.
I ain't going to stop it. Listen, superstitions really are just rituals. Did you see the light flash?
Yeah.
Superstitions are rituals that have been passed down orally before we could put them into the explanation of text. Because for so long, and even to this day, a lot of people that practice things are illiterate, right? Maybe they were never told to read, but their beautiful oral history was passed down. Okay. So what can you do when you feel energetically exhausted and burned out? One, get your ass in grass. I talk about this all the time. Find a grounding ritual. Maybe it's meditation. For me, as an ADD mind, meditating was very challenging.
Like outside?
You can get outside. Yeah. Sit in grass, hug a tree, get away from social media. I tell them we're on it now, but get away from all of that and get your mind quiet. And when you're alone with your thoughts, that's when that programming is going to start to come out. Most people are so hyper-stimulated by everything and all of these resources. Because remember, it's not just our conscious mind that's processing, it's the subconscious where all this insidious programming is at. So we got to get quiet. So we're going to do that. Say no. I wasn't kidding when I said we practice saying no. And if you're on the fence about it, say no. If your plans change, maybe we can do that. But get yourself some boundaries with no. Stepping away from overstimulated gatherings, right? I've done that. I've found my way. We still get invited to a lot of things and I politely decline. Thank you so much. That was so thoughtful of you to think of me. We're unable to attend. Okay. I still say thank you. I show appreciation. It's not like, no, I ain't going. Again, it's how you kind of package up the no.
Got a quick question for you.
Got it?
Going back to the grounding. I did about a month and a half in rehab a couple of years ago, and I learned about grounding and, meditation and all that. And grounding outside is 10 times easier than it is inside. what advice would you give to someone who, for instance, lives in Antarctica or somewhere where they can't go outside, or that's,
They can still go
constantly
outside.
rainy?
You
Or
can still ground. In any condition, you can ground. All
okay,
you have to do is get into nature. Do you have to have your feet like freezing in snow? I have grounded in snow before. I don't particularly like it. Go touch a tree. Get a
gotcha.
plant in your house.
So you don't have to lay down in the ground and put your
No.
hands in the. No, I
Listen,
know.
it's about the transfer of uh, your electrons to the ground.
Okay.
You could literally visualize your feet going to the core of the earth. When I do a lot of my mindset hacks, that's one of the ways that we start is I'll have people visualize the roots going to earth, and I put them through a mental grounding versus a physical grounding, more of a spiritual grounding as well. But it doesn't take a long time. Like you don't have to lay on the grass for 45 minutes. I mean, especially nowadays, be careful because in this area where we're at in the suburbs of Chicago, the ticks be ticking. Okay. There's ticks everywhere.
Yeah, everyone watch out this year, please. Please be careful.
Be careful.
Tight clothes around your ankles and whatnot, and your waist.
Check yourselves.
Yeah,
Check yourself
yourselves.
before you wreck yourself.
It's
honestly.
probably going to be one of the worst years we've ever had.
I feel it too. I got back into using the Avon Skin So Soft.
Oh.
They're not a sponsor of the show, but they're welcome to be. I absolutely love it. We used to use it when we went fishing with mosquitoes and gnats. And to me, I think it works for the ticks. The jury's out about it, but it's a natural way to keep that shit off.
Yep. Natural remedies are in right now for the ticks because people are complaining about like the super strong DEET spray not doing anything because the Lone Star tick is on the spread right now. And
you have to remember that your largest organ in your body is your skin. So anything that you put on your skin
absorbs
quickly. It's called transdermally. So you have to be extremely careful with that. Protecting your nervous system, understanding your energetic limits. Listen, if you can't, don't ever pour from an empty cup. I've talked about this. When you pour and make a sacrifice, and I've done it, I know it, I feel it, I know my body when it starts to do it, I have to pull myself back because all I want to do is give. All I want to do is give all my love from my heart. My heart is literally physically, emotionally, and spiritually enlarged. My chakra system, like I went to go get one of those scans and the guy's like, I've never seen the heart chakra this big. I'm like, bro, I don't know. I actually have a mitochondria, blah, blah, blah problem in my heart because it's not the right size. I digress. But if you find yourself at your limit, you have to protect your peace. You have to protect your peace. So I want to give love and receive love and have this opening here. But sometimes I get to my limit and I'm like, cut, done. I have to protect my energy because I pour it out. So when we pour from an empty cup, we end up cursing ourselves, cursing the blessing, and cursing the recipient. So we think we're making sacrifices. If you can't make it from a position of access, and it's not a donation and it's a sacrifice, don't do it. Please don't do it. I've done it numerous times. And every time I do it, I am burned, literally burned. Donations are gifts from a place of abundance. Sacrifices are gifts from, not even gifts, curses from a place of scarcity. If you're not doing it from a system of abundance, don't do it. Okay? Because that means you're just doing it for people pleasing and approval sucking. And it's not even about the gift. It's about your ego. I said what I said and I meant it. Okay. Now, this is the time if you are in the chats anywhere, we're going to do some intuitive pulls. We're going to take a look at that mother's wound. We're going to take a look at where are women abandoning themselves. If you've been abandoning yourself, please reach out to me, contact me, direct message me, email me, because this doesn't need to continue. Where are your inherited beliefs that you're releasing? What does nurturing look like to you now? How are you taking care of you? I remember being so mad the first time I ever heard that expression, put your own oxygen mask on first. I didn't understand. I was so mad. Now I think that's brilliant. How can I be of service to anybody else if I don't serve myself first? So important. So I give you permission to rest. I give you permission to have softness without guilt. I give you permission to grieve the mothering you didn't receive. That one hits me. That one hits me. And I give you permission to reparent yourself, to learn those skills. I tell you what, my mind was blown. You come and tell you the craziest thing today. My hair, you're gonna see me touching my hair like crazy today. It is so super soft. And the craziest thing is I learned yesterday from TikTok how to wash your hair properly. No one ever taught me how to wash my hair properly.
What do you mean?
This is exactly it, right?
Teach me.
I'm going to teach you. And it was the craziest thing because my hair is completely different today. It doesn't have this little
Yeah, I was
flyaways.
gonna say, I'm like, it's laying perfectly.
I know. Thank you. So you're supposed to emulsify the
Okay.
shampoo in your
Yeah.
hands and rub it together. I did not know that. And then you're supposed to only use your fingertips and you're supposed to wash your hair once. Then you're supposed to wash it twice because then it opens up the pores and cleanses better. So again, emulsify again, wash it again. And then you're only supposed to put the conditioner halfway through your hair and then down, never to the roots. And I was always putting on the roots, but then my hair was always feeling itchy and I did not know this. Like, and that's a simple thing of like, I had to reparent myself, something that I had been doing wrong. I'm 50 years old. I didn't know. I always was like, why is my hair always so great when I get out of the salon? Because they know that.
Right, yeah.
And
it's their
today I was
job, yeah.
I'm having like salon hair. I was like, this is fabulous.
Noted. I'm gonna start doing that.
Let me know, report back.
Because I have shitty hair.
Wash twice, right?
Yep.
And then condition, but don't do the roots.
Right.
I didn't. It's the simplest thing, but think about all those things that we were taught about how to care for ourselves.
Yeah, no.
That might have been
half of that routine I made up myself. That was just I didn't think
you didn't
about
know
that. No.
You know?
No.
You don't. Jeez. You know what it says? There's an interesting study that says based on where you start washing yourself, it says a lot about your personality. So maybe we'll have to bring that into one of the episodes.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one. All right. So let's talk about redefining nurturing. Let's look at this. I don't see anybody in the chat yet. Claim. You can write the word claim in the chat if you'd like your mother's wound card. I'm going to pull, Nico, if it's okay with you, may I pull one for you, love?
Of course.
This is actually out of Moon Kitty's deck. So if you know Moon Kitty in our TikTok community, she made this beautiful deck. It's available through her information. You can always reach out and get it. Grateful for what she has. Lineage healing. Yours says, carrying the weight of the line, the cycle ends with me. Oh, I love that for you.
Oh, yeah.
The cycle ends with you, and I can see that.
It does.
It just absolutely ended with you. I'm going to pull mine. If you want one, now's that time that you can ask for one, friends. We're going to do a collective reading and have a better understanding. But if you'd like a mother's wound card, all you have to do is comment something down below, even if it's as simple as emoji, and I'll do that reading for you. So let me know if somebody's looking for one. All right, I'm going to pull mine. Here we go. Depleted mother. Self-erased by constant sacrifice. Love without depletion. Your needs matter too. This is not. It's about me as a mom. I'm going to read it. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Keeping it together. I give with love and I include myself in that love. The cycle of pouring yourself until nothing remains. I just talked about this. The cycle of pouring yourself until nothing remains, though it may look like devotion, it's often fueled by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of unworthiness, fear that love must be earned through sacrifice. This mother asks you to restore balance. Your needs matter as much as anyone else's. Love is sustainable only when it includes you. If you are that kind of overgiving mother, overdoing the depleted mother, where do I give to the point of depletion? These are some reflection questions. What fear drives my overgiving? What would change if I valued my needs equally? Healing practice. For one day, practice a sacred pause. Before saying yes to any request, breathe and ask yourself, do I want to give this from love or am I afraid to say no? So this is what I was talking about, Nico. If you're doing it from a place of love and from a place of abundance, from a place of overflowing, right? Let your answers guide you. Let your answers guide you. Woo! That one. Ooh, Let's get some more. I don't. Do we have anyone else in the chat right now? I'm looking at both of our chats that would like a read, that would like a card. Jump in. Okay, let me know if that would be something you'd like to have one of these cards for a Mother's Day, Mother's Wound read. But man, do I feel that one? I did not anticipate it being about me. I thought it was going to be about my relationship with my mom. It's my relationship with me as a mom. Ooh,
Caught you off guard, yeah.
a little bad that would knock me. And the Kleenex is over there.
Mhm.
I'll be using it later. But yeah, let's release, let's rise, and let's recognize. Let's release, rise, and recognize. Let's keep pulling. Okay, someone needs to hear this spirit. There's somebody that needs a card. And maybe they're just afraid to ask for it. So let's see who comes up next. Spirit, let's see who comes up next. Oh my
Amina,
gosh.
I believe it was Marcy, said claim.
So Marcy's claiming one? All
Yep.
right. Marcy, let's get your card, love. She's claiming a need. Let's get your read, my love. And this is an exclusive for the podcast because, as you know, energetically, readings are never gifted this way per se. So what a nice opportunity. People pleasing, Marcy. Oh, I see this in you, my love. People pleasing. It says, bending yourself for love. Your worth is not in performance. Let's take a look at it. Oh my God. Ooh, okay. Oh my goodness. Bending yourself for people pleasing. Here we are. My worth is not in performance. I am loved as I am. Often begins as a survival strategy. If I perform well, I keep others happy. Maybe I will be loved, yet over time, this strips away your authenticity and silences your true needs. Love is not earned through bending or performing. Your worth is innate and real connect. Listen, I'm about to say, honey, you'll know what I mean by this. Real connection flows from your authenticity, not your sacrifice. Here's some reflection questions. Maybe you want to journal these out today. Where in my life do I hide my truth to keep the peace? What part of me believes love must be earned? How does people pleasing keep me from intimacy? Healing practice. For one day, practice saying one authentic no and one authentic yes. Now, notice how it feels in your body to respond honestly. Notice how it feels in your body to respond honestly. Thank you, Marcy. I hope that brings you healing. Okay. As always, readings and resources are available. You just have to reach out to me by either DM, by QR, by any of the resources that are available if you feel that you would benefit from this, right? Let's pull some more. Spirit, someone needs to hear a message. What needs to be heard? What needs to be received? Who needs this message? And maybe this will reach, there it is. Enmeshed mother. Okay, let's look at the enmeshed mother. No boundaries, only guilt and suffocation. Separation brings freedom. Love breathes in space. Oh, this is going to be a different kind of mama. Okay, this is going to be a different kind of mama. This is, to me, going to be that mom that love the, here we are. This may be, and there's different kinds of mothers could be blended, but this one is boundaries protect my freedom and nurture love. Love tangled with guilt, obligation, or lack of boundaries. Her presence can feel smothering, leave you unsure where she ends and you begin. This mother reminds you that healthy boundaries are not rejection, but liberation. By defining your space, you make room for love to breathe. So your reflection questions, if you have an enmeshed mother, is where in my life do I feel suffocated or over-entangled? How does guilt keep me from setting boundaries? What boundaries would give me the most freedom right now? Stand with your feet firmly on the ground. Imagine a glowing circle of light forming around you, your sacred boundary. We've talked about this, bubbling up, sacred boundary, sacred light. Whisper, this is my space. Love can flow in, but fear cannot cross. I love that. This is my space. Love can flow in, but fear cannot cross. Love that for everybody. That's a good one, protection wise, for everybody. So as we sit here and as we get closer, because it's Friday, you do not need to perform Mother's Day, whether you're a child or a mother, or again, any divine feminine that is looking for connection, looking for that is served, right? You don't have to have had the child out your hoo-ha to be considered a mom. Let's start there. Okay. There's a lot of people that to me throughout my life have been incredible mentors, incredible divine feminine. And I'm not just saying even women, but that had the divine feminine traits that have showed up and loved and helped me through my healing and my grieving of myself. Healing starts when women stop trying to earn rest and finally believe they deserve care too. So the most important thing I can say is as we are redefining nurturing, if we're releasing that perfectionism, I am flawed and I am beautiful just the way I am. I am 50 and I embrace my whole continuum of light and darkness and work in my shadow for my healing. Asking for help is okay. Choosing peace over performance is okay. Allowing yourself to receive is okay. One thing I will say is if you find yourself in this struggle of, as Nico and I were talking earlier at the beginning of this podcast, I encourage you to go back and listen to all of our Intuitive Innovations podcasts streamed across 9 different platforms. If you want to listen to it again on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on Apple Music, Apple Podcast, actually. Again, watching it here again on YouTube. The idea is every time you listen to something, another message comes because you're at a different level in your healing journey. So if you go back and listen to some of the original podcasts, we were just talking about this. We're coming up almost on 6 months of working together on this podcast, multiple episodes, multiple help, multiple healing. As always, my role as an intuitive alchemist, as a intuitive wellness practitioner is to help you get further along in your healing. And I do applaud those people that have worked with me. You are really making leaps and bounds as I've been in your energy with readings or with protocols, with support. So as you work through that, as we talk about this on the podcast, I celebrate you. I celebrate your accomplishments. I celebrate your success. I celebrate the love that you bring to yourself and to your family, whether that family be biological or the family of choice. I'm grateful to our social media communities. I'm grateful for your trust and your love. As always, I'm available to you. It's a simple way to reach out and seek the support and the love that you deserve. But please understand, as we approach this weekend, you do not need to perform. You just need to seek that peace. If I can be a part of your journey for healing and understanding and removing the toxicity, removing that negative programming, I would be honored. I would be honored. As always, we are grateful for the love and support that you give to Intuitive Innovations, for sharing this podcast, for commenting, for being here, for the support. Again, we're always looking for quality partners to program with. But please know, I wish all of you in your divine feminine energy a very blessed and happy Mother's Day. Again, thank you for being a part of Intuitive Innovations.